LOS40.
Thank you so much for flying with us. I met Alex on the plane.
Hi.
We had dinner in Bangkok. We went back to his hotel. When I woke up in the morning, he was so alive.
So, good morning, Mrs. Cuoco. Pleased to meet you.
Good morning, you too.
My name is David Garcia Maciejewski from LOS40 Spain in Madrid. First of all, congratulations for the series. I have truly enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So, tell us about how this project comes from. I mean, the origins. Why did you decide to shoot it, and what does this story mean for you?
So I actually, I optioned the book 3 years ago. I found the book and I thought it would make, I just got this kind of chill up my spine. I thought it would make great TV. And really, I just loved the character of Cassie. You know, she's really a train wreck, but one that you weirdly want to fight for and root for. I thought she'd make good TV. So I optioned the rights, which took us about 6 months. And I got it. And then all of a sudden I had this book and I thought, well, what do I do now? So I took it into the studio and I said, I think this would make a good series. Let's do it. And they, of course, asked me, well, are you going to be in it? And I said, yes. And the next day I had an office, and that was 3 years ago that this whole crazy adventure started for me.
So I'd like you to make a brief description of your character's personality. I mean, she seems like a good person, but she has also these inner demons, like the problem with alcohol. Who is Cassandra?
Yes, yeah, she absolutely has inner demons. You know, Cassie is a great friend, a blast to be around. She loves her job because it enables her to party and travel the world and meet new people. And she loves that lifestyle. I think a lot of young flight attendants, that's why they do it. They can travel for free. And she's, you know, of course, she's got her inner demons, like you said. You're very correct, as the drinking is cute and fun. And as we find out later, it is actually much deeper and darker. And she has a serious problem, which also leads back to her childhood trauma that we do uncover later in the series. And she, I think when she wakes up next to dead Alex, her first instinct is to run. Which obviously is such a bad idea, but she's in such denial, which again, we find out later that she's been in denial her whole life with things that have happened to her. And this is her only way of her coping mechanism is putting her head in the sand and pretending it didn't happen. So as fun as she is, she's hiding a lot of secrets and depression deep down.
So your character is almost drunk every single moment of the series, or wishing that she's drunk. How can you portray a character like that all the time?
Just get drunk. I was drunk the whole time. A lot of drinking. No, I'm kidding. You know, I got to tell you, I drank so much water on this show. I had to pee 87,000 times on this because it was so much water. And, you know, she drank vodka. That's her drink. So I'm just downing water, which was great. I got my water intake, which was wonderful. But, you know, it's interesting. There are people in the world that that are functioning alcoholics that have full-time careers, full-time jobs, live their life but are basically drinking all day long. Because I remember thinking, God, if I had one of those bottles, I'd be like, there's no way I could even function. But when people are used to doing that for years, they need it to even get through the day. And she has not gone a day without basically solid drinking for years and years. So it's a big problem. But yeah, I drank a lot of water on this show.
So there is this combination of comedy and thriller. Would you say that The Flight Attendant is more like a thriller, or maybe more like a dark comedy? In which genre would you place it?
The tone of this show is very hard to explain. It has many different feelings. If I could tell you the conversations we had surrounding the word tone, you wouldn't believe. Look, there's a lot of obviously dark things happen. We have a gruesome murder and depression and alcoholism that is nothing to laugh about. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I'm playing Cassie and I can't help but be a little bit funny. So it's definitely written in my voice. There is levity, which I think makes the show fun and easy to watch. I mean, you're thinking something so serious is going on and then you start laughing. So it's definitely a lighter tone with, you know, with some serious drama mixed in, but it kind of is a little bit of everything. And it doesn't take itself so seriously, which I think is refreshing. Not everything has to be extremely serious, you know, especially right now, we want something fun.
how did you manage as an actress to deal with all those combinations of tones? I mean, it must have been challenging for you as an actress, as an artist.
Yes, it was really interesting because I was also producing this. I was in on the editing process, which taught me a lot. It made me look at things differently as an actor. Knowing the tone was so specific, we never knew how we were going to cut it. In other words, was this scene going to be the funny scene? Was this scene going to be the serious scene? So every take, I was always aware of doing it every different way, so that we would have these options. Is this going to be the more lighthearted way of saying it, or should I do this? Is this darker? But we didn't know until we were on the edited floor. So I was the queen of options. I would say, okay, we're going to do the funny one. And then the next one, okay, guys, this one's going to be the sad one. Okay, I'm going to scream this one. We just, as an editor, I am not an editor, but in the editing room, as many options is so great because we can pick and choose what works. And I wouldn't have really known that or appreciated that unless I was behind the scenes with this group of people. So it was very cool. It definitely changed my outlook on how to work.
I think they know you're lying. The whole night it just flickers. I can't remember anything about it. Cass, I'm your best friend, so I have to ask you, why'd you clean it up? I don't know.
So the last big thing you made before the Flight Attendant was the Big Bang Theory. Did
Little
you miss
show.
that? Yeah, yeah, sorry.
No, I'm joking.
No. Did you miss this sitcom format, or how did you experience this big change of tone and scene? What did you learn there that you could apply here, that you could use here?
Well, I definitely miss people clapping and laughing at my every move. So that's hard to live without. I got really spoiled there. An audience show, there's nothing like it. It really is a blast, and there's an energy that you won't get from anything else. I love what I'm doing now, and I will always like cherish that time. But I don't miss it. I think that I loved it, and I wouldn't mind doing. I don't know if the real sitcom will live. Like I don't know how much longer that'll be, but it was such a fun experience to be able to shoot in front of a live audience, and having also, I think what super prepared me for this job is how quick you have to think on your feet in a sitcom. We're constantly on a live show. You've got writers running in, rewriting everything and giving you a new joke. That joke didn't work. Say this one. You don't have time to go to your trailer and learn. You have to do it right then, which I think really helped me for Flight Attendant, because Cassie's character is everything happened so fast with her that there wasn't time for me to prepare. I just had to kind of go in and wing it and go with kind of my heart and my gut, which is what you do in front of an audience.
Uh-huh. So how much of your own personality did you put in Cassandra's? I mean, and what would you do in a situation like that? I mean, you wake up in a hotel in Bangkok with this dead guy. It's quite horrible, right? What would you do in that same situation if you were there?
God, I really hope that never happens to me.
Well, we all hope, yeah.
We all hope that. I watch a lot of Dateline, and I've seen a lot of this happen because I watch hundreds of episodes where something horrible happens and the person is innocent and they run, or they end up looking guilty, and you're screaming at the TV, right? You're going, you didn't do it. Like, just tell them you didn't do it. But there's the fear and the shock takes over, and they go on these tangents and they run away, or they don't call the police for 2 days, right? And you're going, why didn't you call the police? Like, you didn't do it. You're innocent. But there's such fear. So I believed that Cassie would run. And also remember, she's in Bangkok. Like, she is in Bangkok and needs to get out and needs to get back on the plane. Like, there are a lot of bad things going on for her. So, and my dog is agreeing with me. She is, oh, look, she's going to leave now. She's agreeing with me. But yeah, I guess I would have been scared to call anyone too. I mean, who knows if they would have even let her back in the country, like all these things going on in her mind. So I don't judge her for her mistake, but she could have done a lot of things better.
So there's also this sexual component in the series, especially in the first episode. I don't want this to sound like an uncomfortable question, but how was that experience for you? I mean, did you feel uncomfortable with some of the takes?
It's funny, I was shooting with McKeel, who's like major heartthrob. And I said to him, I've never done a sex scene before. I'm like, have you? And McKeel goes, like 30, 35 times. And I was like, what? I'm like, what? He's like, I was on Game of Thrones. We did this all the time. I was like, oh yeah. So McKeel had to like literally help me. I had never done it before. And it's funny, you shoot all day and then you watch it and you're like, they use like 4 seconds and you can't even see anything. So you get all this footage, and it was great. McKeel and I were laughing just because I was so awkward about it. Like, I couldn't have been weirder. And he was like, what's the big, he thought it was no big deal. So I was the weirdo. He was not.
So my last question, without revealing any spoilers, which scenes have been the most complicated or difficult or challenging as an artist, I don't know, to shoot?
I think the most challenging, but also the most fun. There's a jailhouse scene later in the series that I just have a full breakdown by myself, for hours by myself. And we had to shoot a lot of that footage, and so it was basically just a day of me hysterically crying and screaming and this. So it was a challenge, but it was also awesome at the same time. I got to just let loose.
All right. So I think we ran out of time. Thank you very much, Mrs. Cuoco.
Thank you, David.
Good luck with the series.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
The flight attendant, she knows more than she's saying.
The FBI wanted information about you. Do not do anything stupid. Cassie, I'm a crazy drunk flight attendant, not a killer. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
How do you think you're getting away with any of